My father slid the wire confirmation across the white tablecloth. $80 million. My mother held up the deed to a mansion in Pacific Palisades like it was a diploma. My sister smiled. She got the house. She got a custom Tesla. She got everything. I sat at the end of that table with a glass of water nobody refilled. Dad raised his champagne. "You've always been special, sweetheart." He wasn't talking to me. No explanation, no apology. Just $80 million for the golden child and silence for me. What do you do when your parents erase you with a single transaction? I didn't know the answer yet, but outside in the parking lot, a stranger in a gray suit was waiting. And the envelope he handed me held the one thing they didn't count on: the truth. Before we go further, drop a comment. Where are you watching from and what time is it there? Hit like if you'd want receipts in a situation like this. And subscribe, because what happened next changed everything. This wasn't new. I'd been invisible my whole life. When I turned 16, my sister got a white Lexus with a bow on it. I got a bus pass. When she wanted to study art history at a private college, my parents wrote a check for 4 years. Tuition, room, board, spending money. When I wanted to go to college, my dad handed me a FAFSA form. "State school builds character," he said. So I worked 2 jobs. I graduated with a degree in accounting. I became a CPA. I kept every receipt, every email, every promise. It's a survival skill when you grow up being erased. My parents always said the same thing. "Don't worry, honey. You'll be taken care of when the time comes." My grandfather built a real estate empire: shopping centers, office parks, apartment complexes across 3 states. He always said it was for all his grandchildren, not just one. I even saved a voicemail he left me a month before he died. "Make sure both my girls know I love them equally." I played it twice on the drive home from that dinner. Then I sat in my car in the parking lot and I shook. I didn't cry. I just stared at the steering wheel. That's when I saw him. Gray suit, kind face, standing by my window. Before I could turn the key, my sister knocked on the passenger window. I unlocked it. She didn't get in. She leaned down. Mom and Dad stood behind her, arms crossed. "We need you to sign something," she said. Her voice was flat, cold. I asked what. She pulled out a folded paper. "A waiver. It releases any future claim you might have to family assets. It makes the transfer clean." I stared at her. "You're serious? Just sign it. You were never part of the plan anyway." My mother stepped forward. "We gave you an education. That's more than enough." My father pulled a pen from his jacket. The document was already notarized. There was a blank line at the bottom with my name printed underneath. I asked why. "Because your sister deserves this," Mom said. I told them I wasn't signing. My sister's face hardened. "If you don't, we'll make sure you regret it. Lawyers cost money. Do you have any?" I didn't answer. My dad leaned in. "Sign by Friday, or we'll contest anything you try to claim. You'll spend years in court for nothing." I got out of the car. I walked past all 3 of them. That's when the man in the gray suit stepped forward. I went home and I called a lawyer I knew from work. I told her everything. She sighed. "Without documentation, you have no standing. Parents can give their money to anyone. Even if it feels unfair, it's legal." I asked about my grandfather's estate. "Was there a trust? A will that named you?" I didn't know. She told me the truth. "If the transfer's already complete and there's no legal instrument that explicitly names you as a beneficiary, you'd be fighting uphill, and it would cost you everything you have." I hung up. I sat on my couch in the dark. Maybe they were right. Maybe I really was never meant to be part of it. Maybe I was always the problem. The deadline was 3 days away. I thought about signing just to make it stop. Then my phone rang. Unknown number. I answered. A man's voice, calm, careful. You don't know me, but I worked for your grandfather, and I have something you need to see. I met him the next morning at a coffee shop 2 blocks from my office. He slid a manila envelope across the table. My hands shook when I opened it. Inside was a copy of my grandfather's original irrevocable trust, dated April 2009, signed by him. Witnessed by 2 attorneys. I read the distribution clause out loud. To my granddaughters, Jessica and Rachel, in equal shares, without preference or condition. 50-50, $80 million each. The mansion was listed as a trust asset for equitable distribution. The man across from me was in his 60s. Glasses. Steady hands. I was your grandfather's estate paralegal for 9 years. I kept a copy of this because something felt wrong when they filed an amendment later. I asked what amendment. In 2012, your parents filed a revised distribution. I'd already left the firm by then. I never saw your grandfather sign it, but it redirected the entire estate to your sister. I felt my chest tighten. Why are you showing me this now? Because I saw the public filings last week. The $80 million transfer. I realized they actually did it. They cut you out. I stared at the paper. This was proof I was supposed to inherit. But I needed proof they stole it. He slid a second page across the table. You're going to want to see this too. I went back to my office. I scanned the trust and emailed it to my parents and my sister. Subject line. Want to explain this? 1 sentence in the body. I have the original. I hit send. 40 minutes later, my inbox pinged. It was from a law firm I'd never heard of. Subject. Final warning. Cease and desist. The letter accused me of harassment, defamation, and attempting to extort my family. It threatened legal action if I continued. I checked my phone. My sister had posted an Instagram story, a photo of the mansion at sunset. Caption: Blessed and grateful. Some people just can't handle success. 300 likes in an hour. Then my mother called. I answered. Her voice was ice. You're about to humiliate this entire family. Don't you dare go through with whatever you're planning. I told her I just wanted the truth. The truth is that you've always been jealous. And now you're trying to destroy your sister's happiness. She hung up. I sat there staring at my screen. They weren't denying the trust. They were trying to bury it. I had 48 hours before their attorney filed for a restraining order. I called the paralegal back. I need the smoking gun. He connected me with the original witness attorney, retired now, living in Santa Barbara. He still had his files. We met at his home office the next afternoon. He pulled out a folder marked with my grandfather's name. Inside was the 2012 amendment, the one that gave everything to my sister. And underneath it, a handwritten note on his firm's letterhead. Signature questioned, flagged for review, overruled by family counsel. He put on his reading glasses. Your father brought this amendment to me in February of 2012. He said your grandfather wanted to simplify the estate. 1 beneficiary instead of 2. Did you believe him? No, the signature looked wrong. Different slant. Different pen pressure. I told your father I wouldn't certify it. What did he do? He found someone who would. The attorney pulled out 2 signature cards, side by side. The first from the original trust in 2009. The second from the amendment. They didn't match. He handed me a notarized statement. I'm willing to testify. This is forgery. I finally had it. Proof they stole my inheritance. I wanted to understand why. Why would they do this? The paralegal gave me one more contact. My grandfather's accountant. Retired but still sharp. I called him that night. He remembered me. Your grandfather loved you both the same. He told me that a dozen times. I asked him if he knew about the amendment. He went quiet. I knew. And I knew why. He told me the timeline. In late 2011, my father's commercial real estate venture collapsed. He lost $12 million. My sister had racked up $400,000 in credit card debt from a failed startup and lifestyle spending she couldn't sustain. They were drowning, he said. My grandfather had a stroke in October of 2011. He was in hospice by January. The amendment was filed in February. He passed in March. They needed the entire estate to survive. If it was split, they'd lose the house, the cars, the reputation, so they waited until he couldn't fight back. It wasn't preference. It was desperation dressed up as love. I thanked him and hung up. Now I knew exactly what to do. I hired a trusts and estates litigator. She specialized in elder fraud and undue influence. We sat in her office on a Thursday morning. I gave her everything. The original trust, the forensic signature analysis, the witness testimony, the financial motive, the timeline of my grandfather's incapacity. She read through it all without saying a word. Then she looked up. We don't argue. We show documents. We let the evidence do the work. I asked her what the first step was. We file an emergency petition to freeze the disputed transfer pending a validity hearing on the 2012 amendment. I signed the retainer agreement that afternoon. She uploaded every file I had to the court portal by end of business. Friday morning, the court clerk called her office. She put the call on speaker. Temporary freeze granted. All transferred assets are now under court hold pending evidentiary hearing. Hearing set for 10 days from today. My sister's accounts were frozen. The mansion sale was halted. The Tesla was flagged. I didn't call my parents. I didn't gloat on social media. I just waited. They had no idea what was coming. The probate hearing was on a Tuesday morning. Courtroom 6. Wood paneling. American flag in the corner. The gallery was full. Cases with this much money attract spectators. I sat next to my attorney at the petitioner's table. Hands folded, breathing steady. My parents sat across the aisle with their lawyer. My sister was between them. Her eyes were red. The judge entered. We stood. He sat. We sat. My attorney stood first. Your Honor, we're here to challenge the validity of a 2012 amendment to an irrevocable family trust on grounds of forgery and undue influence during incapacity. She walked to the projector. First slide. The original trust. Executed April 2009. Signed and witnessed. Equal distribution to both granddaughters. She let it sit. Second slide. Signature comparison. The 2012 amendment versus verified samples from 2009. Forensic analysis shows inconsistencies in slant, pressure, and stroke pattern. My father's lawyer stood. Your Honor, this is speculation. The judge raised his hand. I'll hear the evidence. My attorney continued. Third slide. Financial records. In late 2011, respondents faced $12 million in commercial losses and $400,000 in unsecured debt. Motive to consolidate estate assets. Fourth slide. Timeline. Grantor suffered incapacitating stroke October 2011. Amendment filed February 2012 while Grantor was in hospice under diminished capacity. Grantor passed March 2012. The courtroom was silent. My father's attorney tried once more. Your Honor, this was the understood family preference. The grantor wanted to provide for... The judge cut him off. Preference doesn't override a signed, witnessed, irrevocable trust. And it certainly doesn't excuse a potentially forged document executed during incapacity. My sister's voice cracked. This isn't fair. I didn't. The judge looked at her. Fair is what your grandfather put in writing in 2009. He reviewed the documents for 3 minutes. Then he spoke. The court finds the 2012 amendment void due to insufficient evidence of grantor intent and credible evidence of forgery. The estate distribution shall revert to the original trust terms. All transferred assets are frozen pending equitable redistribution. He signed the order. My attorney handed me a copy. I walked out of that courtroom $80 million richer. And completely alone. The aftermath was quiet. My sister returned the Tesla within a week. She vacated the mansion 30 days later. The property went on the market and sold in 45 days. The proceeds were split exactly in half. $80 million deposited into my account. $80 million into hers? My parents' reputation in their social circle crumbled quietly. I never made a public statement. But court records are public. People talk. I didn't gloat. I didn't post. I set up a foundation in my grandfather's name. The Scholarship Fund for First-Generation College Students. $2 million endowment. I went to the ribbon cutting alone. I bought a house. Small, clean, enough. I didn't need a mansion. I needed peace. I kept my CPA job. I like the work. I like the routine. My sister sent me one text 2 months after the hearing. I hope you're happy. I didn't reply. My parents tried to reach out once. Through a cousin. They wanted to talk things through. I declined. I gave them a chance to do the right thing. They chose fraud. I started therapy. I needed help processing what it means to be betrayed by the people who were supposed to protect you. My therapist asked me once if I forgave them. I told her I didn't know yet. But I set boundaries. And I'm learning that love isn't supposed to come with conditions. It's been a year now. I sleep better. I don't check my phone hoping for an apology that'll never come. I built something my grandfather would have been proud of. And I did it without becoming the kind of person who uses money as a weapon. That envelope didn't just give me my inheritance. It gave me my voice back. Here's what I learned. Your worth isn't measured by what your family gives you. It's measured by what you refuse to let them take. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever had to choose between family and fairness? What would you have done in my position? Drop your story in the comments. If this resonated, hit subscribe. Because standing up for yourself is the first step to standing on your own. And one last thing. This story is a fictionalized dramatization. It's not legal or financial advice. If you're facing something like this, talk to a licensed attorney in your area. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.